morning at 3 a.m. Cause that's when I start my grind in. And I got no time for slumbering and chit chat talk with a fake friend.
I'm on my grind, yeah. I'm on my grind. You need to drive, I'm on my grind.
And we want to welcome all of His Glory Nation from east to west to north to south. Welcome to Kingdom Business Builder with Clay Clark. And here he is, Clay Clark, America's coach.
Super Dave, I'm excited to be here with you. I've got nothing but good news, and I want to share this with everybody out there watching today's show. We have a listener by the name of Jay Poole, and I want to praise the effort, the diligence, the kindness, and the courage of Jay Poole. Jay is not a guy who wanted to hop on the Thrivetime show and share a testimonial. But he is a guy who was stuck in business for 20 years. Dave, this guy's been stuck for 20 years. He's in Seattle, okay? I'm not exaggerating, folks. There's over 600 competitors. He's a heating, ventilation, air conditioning business. Over 600 competitors, Dave. He's been in business for 20 years. His business was barely making it. Listen to this success story.
It's been tremendous. I can't say enough about it. Carter keeps me accountable. He keeps me focused on working on the business and implementing things that we need to work on to keep growing the business. When we first started with you, I had 4 employees, and now I'm up to 10 employees. And it's all because of the work we're getting. We're getting more and more work. Clay, I was suffocating. I was, like I said, I was doing the business since 2009, and everything was going through me. And at a point, it's a breaking point. And that's where I think businesses just cave in and give up. And I found you on Rumble, and I started listening to you, and I told myself that it's possible. This guy's system is possible, and I can see hope, and I could keep the business going. And I just encourage people, if you're on the fence, get off the fence and try it. What do you have to gain? Everything. There's a proven path. There's a way to get through it, and there's hope, and the vision becomes clear. You're not stuck. I would join and learn from them and implement, be a diligent doer. Just, does it happen in one day? No. Does it happen in 1 week? No. But if you're just willing to keep trying and peck at it, you'll see it turning. You'll see some improvement, and you'll get hope, and your vision will clear up. It's Jay Poole, and my web address is absoluteheatingcooling.com. We're pretty much a suburb south of Seattle, and so we service the West Seattle.
Now, Dave, this is a real person. I think you can sense he's got that humble confidence. He is a believer. His website is absoluteheatingcooling.com. And Dave, he had never heard of His Glory in a lot of these ministries before the conference. We did this business conference, and he came to the event expecting to learn, search engine optimization and web development and photography and video and workflow design and bookkeeping and all those things. But he walked away having his life transformed, learning about what God had to say about business growth. And again, Dave, this is a guy in Seattle. He traveled to the workshop, wasn't expecting to see Julie Green, wasn't expecting to see people that are leaders in the faith. And I want to encourage everybody out there right now, if you're watching today's broadcast, head on over there to thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com. And if you use promo code His Glory, you get a discount off of your tickets, and you have a chance to win a backstage pass to meet Eric Trump, to meet Mel K, to meet yourself there, Dave. Michael Levine, the PR consultant for Nike, for Prince, for Pizza Hut. He's going to be there. Amanda Grace will be in the house. Pastor Phil Hotzenpiller, Dr. Stella Emanuel, Dave and Stacy White, and Julie Green. Dave, it's going to be a blasty blast, but I think we got to look at that testimonial again almost, Dave, and say, why is it that man was in business for 20 years and his business was always stuck? Is it what changed? And Dave, I think there's somebody watching this show right now that needs to grab hold of some hope and say, you know what? I can become the next success story, Dave. I think there's somebody out there watching this right now. They have to believe that they can turn their God-given vision for their life into reality.
Amen. He's a great testimony to that, literally. You know, the key thing I saw from that is Rumble. He searched you out on Rumble. So that's the sign that you want to get better, is when you're seeking to try to find and make yourself better. And he came to you, and look what his business has done. 4 employees to 10 employees. What a testimony.
Now, Dave, I want to walk the listeners through a principle that I know that you have lived and you live. The Bible tells us, for a companion of fools shall suffer harm. The Bible tells us, for a companion of fools shall suffer harm. Proverbs 13:20. It says, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. What am I saying? We become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So going back to your high school football career, Dave, you were a starting quarterback, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So let's talk about the throwing motion for a second. I wasn't ever a gifted football player. Walk us through the mechanics of how one should throw a football.
Well, it's all about footwork. It starts with a foot, even though you're throwing with your arm. So you got to have your footwork in proper position, and you got to have the follow through. All the mechanics have to be meticulous. So there's many, many steps, but the first is footwork. If you don't have your footwork right, you're not going to be able to throw the ball straight.
So if you were sitting down with a high school quarterback that maybe needed to work on his accuracy, maybe there's a sophomore watching today's show, and he's struggling with accuracy. He's athletic. He's got different intangible skill sets. He's a good leader. He's an athletic guy, but he's just not super accurate. You would focus on the footwork. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yep, footwork, and that's where your power comes from, too. Your power doesn't really come from your arms. It comes from your legs and your hips and getting into it.
And not a theologian necessarily, but a guy who was great at basketball coaching. John Wooden. Okay, John Wooden. This is the legendary basketball coach who took his team to win 10 out of 12 NCAA championships. Think about that. In 12 years, 10 championships. Wow. UCLA, John Wooden. Think about that, folks. John Wooden, championships, UCLA. Think about that. 10 out of 12. He likes to talk about this idea that you don't practice until you get it right. You practice until perfect. Yep. So all the listeners out there, we're going to dive in right now. We're going to teach you the secrets, okay, on today's show of how we grew this business, okay? So I'm going to give you a free business coaching session for everybody watching right now, okay? So first thing, Dave, I look at his website, and I go, okay, I right-click, and I view the source code. Dave, you said the footwork is what you're looking for. I'm right-clicking on the homepage. I'm viewing the source code. I bet you not 1 out of 1,000 people does that. And I looked at his site, and I go, well, your title tags are wrong. And he's like, title tag? What's a title tag? I go, that's the line 33 on your code, your HTML code. He's like, what else is wrong? I said, well, your description's wrong. He said, how's that wrong? I said, well, that's line 34. And as we're going through this, Dave, he says, wow, you actually know what you're talking about. I said, yeah, and you also, and again, you're seeing the result of it now, but this is not how the website looked. By the way, this is Jay. This is his wonderful family, his wife right here. I go, you don't have an About Us video on your homepage. He says, what's an About Us video? Well, it's like a commercial. You don't have one on your homepage. He said, well, what else am I missing? I said, you don't have the reviews. Consumers want to read the reviews. He said, what else do I not have? I said, you don't have a monthly maintenance program. He says, well, and we're going through, and Dave, there's a 52-page plan we're guiding him through. And I just told him, I said, listen, I tell all my clients, every week, let's just focus on implementing 2% of the system. 2% of the system. And behind the scenes, I'll be very vague about this, but Dave, at his glory, you're always working behind the scenes to take his glory to the next level, to reach more people with the gospel. And so you and I were talking offline, and you're working on some incredible new programming for the His Glory Nation. So somebody, you say, I like His Glory. Oh, I like that. You're watching right now. You say, I love Julie Green. I like the War Report. I like that. Oh, yeah. Some of you are going, is there more? Oh, yes, there's more. But Dave, behind the scenes, you're diligently working with your great team there at His Glory to provide the best content, and every week you're thinking, how can we reach more people with the gospel? Dave, I think people only see what's on the screen, but why is it important that we diligently behind the scenes are just trying to make His glory 2% better every week?
It's key. What you do behind the scenes, the planning, the structure, the follow-up, the review, the inspection, that's about 95% of things that need to be done before you see it on screen. So what you do behind to get prepared is the key.
Folks, if you're watching today's show, go to thrivetimeshow.com, and request tickets for the Anaheim, California event featuring Eric Trump, December 4th and 5th, thrivetimeshow.com.
Parasites are real. I can prove parasites are real. I know they're out in the world today. That's why I recommend Purge Advanced Parasite Cleanse.
Purge, crafted with an all-natural blend of 19 powerful ingredients, designed to target and eliminate every type of parasite inside the human body. Join thousands of users who've already transformed their health. Order now at www.purgestore.com/hisglory and use code HISGLORY for 10% off discount.
Your money is vanishing faster than ever before, and no one is coming to save it. But you can protect your savings starting right now, completely tax and penalty free. Goldco has helped protect billions in retirement savings with real gold and silver. At His Glory, we trust them, and today we want to send you a free gold and silver protection kit. Act now and you'll receive up to 10% in free silver. And if you have $25,000 or more in an IRA savings, Goldco will also send you a free Ronald Reagan silver coin. Supplies are limited. Scan the QR code or click the link to get your free kit today. Goldco will protect what God has entrusted to you. Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend. If you're one of the millions of dog owners, you're likely aware that maintaining a healthy dog can be complicated. According to Dr. Marty Goldstein, there is one potentially dangerous substance that you should stop feeding your dog immediately. If your dog has been feeling tired or not having the energy it used to, this one compound could be the reason. Many dog manufacturers have this substance in their dog foods. After years of research, Dr. Marty has decided to release an information video to the public free and uninterrupted, showcasing exactly which foods you should stop feeding your dog, which you can find out right now by going to hisglorypet.com or clicking the link in the description box below. That's hisglorypet.com. Just by making this one simple change, he was able to support a dog's overall health. Go find that video now at hisglorypet.com or click on the link below this video to find out right now. You won't believe how simple it is. The His Glory Ranch Fall Festival is almost here. Join Pastor Dave Scarlett, Julie Green, Dr. Manny Johnson, Nathan French, Donna Rigney, and more for a powerful day of worship and teaching and ministry. General admission to ensure heightened security measures for all attendees. General admission requires a minimum donation of $1 to capture and validate all registrations. VIP tickets include private lunch, photo opportunities, priority seating, and exclusive chance to connect more personally with the speakers during this powerful day. Reserve your tickets today at hisgloryranch.com. Don't wait. VIP seats are limited and will go fast. Billion Soul donation. Become a Billion Soul partner. By giving $30 or more monthly and support our mission to reach 1 billion souls for Christ. And a thank you, you'll get receive a copy of my book, All for His Glory, and also enter to a chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime trip to either the Footprints of Paul, which is our trip to Greece next year, or our trip back to Israel. So we're going to be having two big trips next year, taking a group back to Israel, and the first time ever, the Apostle Paul footprints in Greece. It's going to be a magnificent trip. And we are back with Kingdom Business Builders and Clay Clark, your coach.
All right. So again, celebrating Jay Poole, this client success story. I'm trying to encourage everybody out there. If you're watching today's show and you have a business, I do a 13-point assessment with everybody out there. So Dave, anybody who's listening to today's show, if you want to start or grow a successful company, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You can schedule a free 13-point assessment. And for sake of time, I'm going to get into the five of the 13 areas. So with Jay's business, I'm talking to him and I said, Dave, let's look at the marketing. What do you do to currently get in front of your ideal and likely buyers? And we really drilled into the website, the branding, the online presence, and we found there's quite a bit of room for improvement there. And there's a lot of specific step-by-step, not guesswork, proven things that we could do to generate more online leads. That's the online marketing. Now, after marketing, there's this thing called branding. And people might confuse the two. They might be connected. But branding is just when people see your van pull up, does it inspire confidence? When people see your business card, does it inspire confidence? The branding, the auto wraps, the business cards, how highly would you rate that on a scale of 1 to 10? If 10 is great and 1 is terrible, how would you rate your branding? If 10 is great, if 1 is terrible, how would you rate your marketing? Now, step 3 here, Dave, it's sales. Now, this is the challenge with a ministry. Dave, I've worked with Oral Roberts University. I've done work with Kim Clement's ministries. I've worked with a lot of ministries, a lot of churches. And the challenge with churches is it's not all about the money. It's not about the money. That's not why there's ministries. And even with an HVAC company, in the case of Jay Poole, he's not all about the money. I know it's a heating and ventilation company, but he perceives himself or views himself as a man on a mission to help you improve the quality of your home experience, and he wants to share the gospel. But at the same time, you gotta bring in money. You have to make sure, okay, how much is coming in versus how much is going out. And Dave, every time I sit down with a Christian business owner, I mean this almost 100% of the time, I'd say 99.99% of the time, when I sit down and I talk to a Christian business owner about sales, they tend to say, Clay, it's not about the money. I didn't get into HVAC because of the money. And I'm like, well, good, because you're not making any. They go, I didn't get into ministry for the money. I go, that's good, because you're not bringing in any money. They go, I didn't get into the gold, the precious metal space because of the money. I said, well, that's good, because you're not making any. I didn't become a doctor to make money. I said, that's good, because you're not making any. They said, I didn't become an author to make money. I said, that's good, because you're not making money. I view money, Dave, as a certificate of appreciation. In a shalom economy, I view money as a certificate of appreciation. Dave, what do you say to somebody out there who's watching this? They're ministry, doctor, lawyer, home builder, whatever, and they say, I didn't get into it for the money, and they don't have any money. Why is there such a phobia there with business owners when it comes down to talking about money?
That's a good question. They need to get over that. It's hard to ask for it. And, we had the stigma in the church that we don't ask or tithe. And I think that might be part of it. But you got to take action for, it's even though it's not a part of the money, it's a way to keep score. I had my first boss who owned MC Sporting Goods. He said, Dave, I was like 21 years old. And he said, it's not about the money. It's just a way for me to keep score. And I'll never forget that.
It's powerful. It's powerful. Now, in box number 4, folks, what Dave just said is powerful. You should pause it, rewind it, watch it twice. That's powerful. Box number 4, again, I go through all 13 points. I'm just trying to help somebody go through 4. It comes down to your team. Box number 4, your team.
Yep.
You can't make your dream work if your team doesn't work. Let me just give an example. One of my kids is a freak athlete. I mean, just a ridiculous athlete. Angelina can flip. She does all these cartwheels. She's into cheerleading. She's like Jackie Chan, but she's like 5'10". It's like this 5'10" ninja cheerleader thing. I don't even know what's happening. She's tall, but she can flip and do all these crazy stunts. And, this just in, I can't. So if you were building a cheerleading squad, you would want somebody who could pull off those stunts, those movements, those actions, because that's how they keep score. Another example, Dave, in your high school career, you could really throw the ball from point A to B with great accuracy. You were recruited by top colleges to play because you were very good at football, the leadership, the intangibles, the quarterback, the throwing the ball. And it's not mean to say that, Dave, you probably should not have been the leader of the rowing team at that point when you were dominating football. It's not mean to say that I shouldn't be on the cheerleading squad. It's not mean. Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I worked with Shaw Homes to help them grow from $14 million to $151 million of sales. ShawHomes.com. Think about that, folks. From $14 million to $151 million. And by the way, Jay Poole in this video, he'd been stuck for 20 years at the level he was at. Shaw Homes had been stuck for 30 years where they were at. And with Shaw Homes, they have great people that frame the houses. They're the ones who build the foundation and the frame, and they pour the footings. And there's a lot of people that do a lot of work that's not glamorous. You got to frame the house, put in the footings, pour the concrete, do the driveway. It's not glamorous. But think about it for a second. Would you let just anybody pour the footings for your new home? Somebody who doesn't know what they're doing? No. Would you let just any rando fan throw the football during the NFL game? No. Would you let somebody out there who's a dedicated cheer dad just begin cheering in the routine because he's passionate? No. So in your business, why is it that we are always just hiring who's available with no standard at all? What is that? Why do we? So let me give an example. In the Bible, this might seem like an extreme example, but here we go. Jesus said, hey, guys, I need you to stop selling stuff in the temple. I need you to, the money changers, we're not going to have the money changers. You're not going to turn my temple into a den of vipers. I'm paraphrasing this story. And the money changers, they're going, no, we like to sell stuff in the temple. That's a good place because people are at the temple. We can sell stuff there. And so Jesus is going, hey, listen, I'm serious. Stop turning my temple into a den of vipers. And they're going, no, we like it. This is a good place. It's a good area, good weather, good traffic, good visibility. We like it here. So Jesus, eventually, he made a whip. People forget this part. Table flipping Jesus made a whip. Think about it. Table flipping Jesus, our Lord and Savior, the Son of God, made a whip That's kind of extreme. Try that in your office, folks. He made a whip and he began chasing people out of the temple, and he flipped over the tables of the money changers, and he's like, get out of here. He cast them out. Okay, Jesus, that was pretty intense. Another example, somebody in the Bible, they said, Jesus, I want to follow you. I want to follow you. That's who I want. I want to follow you. You're the man. You're the Son of God. I want to follow you. And Jesus said, well, let's go. And the man says, well, now's not a convenient time. I'm grieving. There's a funeral that just occurred. And Jesus says, let the dead bury their dead, AKA skip the funeral homes and follow me. Think about that. Jesus is going, hey, friend, good buddy, skip the funeral, follow me. And I think we all are at a place in our life, somehow, if you're a business owner, that you have surrounded yourself with people and you think, well, now's not a good time to make that change. I've got to transition this quarter. Next quarter, though, we're going to do the thing. This week isn't good with the holidays coming up. I mean, geez, you'd hate to make a change. You'd hate to have a disgruntled, dysfunctional employee be replaced before the holidays. You'd think, I don't want to fire anybody before the holidays. I don't want to add somebody new before. So what happens is we get stuck in this pond scum energy where there's no fluid, there's no movement, there's no river of life. It's just a stagnant pond. And if you're watching this show right now, and I told the same thing to Jay, we got to rate your team on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. And if your team is not the best, you got to coach them up or coach them out. What am I saying? Coach them up or coach them out. They got to get better or get out of here. Okay? That has to happen for everybody out there. But again, if you're looking for somebody who took action, Jesus took action. And area number 5 I want to get into on today's show. But area number 5, you have to know where you're going. I mean, you just have to know your vision. You just have to know. I can't tell you how many times, Dave, I get pitched. Somebody will call me and say, just even yesterday, a wonderful man called me and he said, I really want you to help me grow my business. And he's selling hallucinogenic, mind-altering drugs, and he has a faux business called a medical clinic. And what he sells is mind-altering drugs. It's a faux business. It's a fake business, in my opinion. But it's a medical clinic where anybody who comes in there, he's just pushing a pill for every ill, mind-altering drugs. And I had to say, I appreciate you. We disagree fundamentally. I'm not going to help you. You say, why? Because I only want to work with kingdom-building businesses. That's why we talk about this every week here. So if you're watching this show right now, Dave, and you want to check up from the neck up, I've got 3 calls to action for you in the final 60 seconds. 1, find a way to get to the December 4th and 5th interactive, 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop featuring Eric Trump. This is the son of President Donald J. Trump, the world's best-selling author right now, the man who runs the Trump Organization, yourself, Dave Scarlett, Mel K, Michael Levine, Amanda Grace, Julie Green. Find a way to get there December 4th and 5th. December 4th and 5th. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. Use promo code His Glory for a chance to get a backstage pass. You can win a backstage pass. Also, you get a discount off of tickets. 2, schedule a 13-point assessment. I'd love to talk to you about your business and where you're stuck. And we have a very interactive business workshop, a business growth coaching format I've been doing for over 20 years. And you can learn more about that at thrivetimeshow.com. And then finally, I would encourage you to subscribe to His Glory. On average, less than 15% of people subscribe to their favorite podcast. So I encourage everybody out there, click the subscribe button, click the like button, and share the show in the air everywhere. Dave, I appreciate you allowing me being here, and we're counting down to the end here. So here we go. 3, 2, 1.
It's been tremendous. I can't say enough about it. Carter keeps me accountable. He keeps me focused on working on the business and implementing things that we need to work on to keep growing the business. When we first started with you, I had 4 employees, and now I'm up to 10 employees. And it's all because of the work we're getting. We're getting more and more work. Clay, I was suffocating. Like I said, I was doing the business since 2009, and everything was going through me. And at a point, it's a breaking point. And that's where I think businesses just cave in and give up. And I found you on Rumble, and I started listening to you, and I told myself that it's possible. This guy's system is possible, and I can see hope, and I could keep the business going. And I just encourage people, if you're on the fence, get off the fence and try it. What do you have to gain? Everything. There's a proven path. There's a way to get through it, and there's hope, and the vision becomes clear. You're not stuck. I would join and learn from them and implement, be a diligent doer. Just, does it happen in one day? No. Does it happen in one week? No. But if you're just willing to keep trying and peck at it and peck at it, you'll see it turning. You'll see some improvement, and you'll get hope, and your vision will clear up. It's Jay Poole, and my web address is absoluteheatingcooling.com. We're pretty much a suburb of south of Seattle, and so we service the West Seattle to Lakewood area, and from the water, Puget Sound water, all the way to Maple Valley. I've been in the industry over 20 years. I started my business in 2009. We're basically a family-owned heating and cooling company, and we provide quality installation, repair, and service on all heating and cooling systems, gas fireplaces, gas hot water tanks. Prior to joining your system, I was overwhelmed, and that's because I didn't understand the difference between working in my business and working on my business. I pretty much equated to I'm an HVAC technician having entrepreneurial seizures because I didn't know the difference between working in and working on it. Give up hope. There's a path out of your misery, and that's joining the Thrivetime and reading books and learning and being a doer. Prior to joining Thrivetime, I wasn't a reader, and now I am. And I just started out with telling myself, I love to read, I love to read, I love to read. I didn't start that day reading, but it just kept soaking in. And I picked up a book and I started reading. And that gave me hope and a vision. And that's what people need. We're a family HVAC company. We do residential and light commercial. We specialize in quality installation, quality repair, and quality service.
How much of an impact has it made on your business having your website updated and reinvigorated?
Oh, tremendously. We had a website through another contractor, and we barely got any leads. I probably could count them, and we had it up for over a year or more, and I can count on one hand how many leads we got off it. And now we've been with you going on 10 months, and we get leads. It's amazing.
On today's show, we're interviewing a client who is having success because he's putting in the work. And this just in, nothing works unless we work, right? Nothing works unless you and I put in the effort. And so I'm super honored and excited to interview a diligent doer, a person who says, look, just show me the proven path. I'll put in the work. He's the man with a plan, and he's on today's show. Jay, welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks, Clay.
Now, Jay, for people that want to look you up and verify you're real, can you tell us your first and last name and your web address so people can go look you up?
Yeah, it's Jay Poole, and my web address is absoluteheatingcooling.com.
And where are you guys based? Or maybe what markets do you, what areas of the marketplace do you service?
We're pretty much a suburb of south of Seattle, and so we service the West Seattle to Lakewood area, and from the water, Puget Sound water, all the way to Maple Valley.
And how long have you been in this particular industry?
I've been in the industry over 20 years. I started my business in 2009.
And what are all the services that you guys provide so people can have a little bit of a context?
We're basically a family-owned heating and cooling company, and we provide quality installation, repair, and service on all heating and cooling systems, gas fireplaces, gas hot water tanks.
Now, I'm going to pull up something on my screen, and you can analyze this, and you might rebuke it and say, Clay, you're out of your mind. But I'm going to pull it up so the listeners can follow my logic or lack thereof. But if we go to usdebtclock.org, which I encourage people not to do, but if you go there, you'll see the U.S. population is sitting at 342 million right now. And there are just 9 million self-employed people. So you have, less than 2.5% of our population is self-employed. And for everybody who doesn't like quick math, let me break it down. If 10% of our population was self-employed, that'd be 34 million. But it's not 34, it's 9 million. So you have 2.5% of our population is self-employed. And then Inc. Magazine, but this is Inc. Magazine. Inc. Magazine is reporting now that 96% of businesses fail. Who's saying this? Inc. Magazine. Why are they saying this? Because it's true. And so what happens is, Jay, I meet entrepreneurs all the time who come to our conference or they listen to our podcast and they say, Clay, I don't think it's possible to grow my company. I don't think it's possible to get unstuck. And I think we get used to being stuck. I think we get used to it. We almost endure it. We almost go, well, I'm just going to be stuck here. Could you share with the listeners, how much have you been able to grow this year since you and I have been able to team up?
Tremendously. Prior to joining your system, I was overwhelmed. And that's because I didn't understand the difference between working in my business and working on my business. I pretty much equated to I'm an HVAC technician having entrepreneurial seizures because I didn't know the difference between working in and working on it.
We have a wonderful listener I just talked to moments ago, and maybe you could say something to her or maybe people out there. She says, look, I'm so overwhelmed. And we haven't had the opportunity to really guide her down a path. I mean, we're just getting to know this person. And she's like, I'm so overwhelmed. I just feel like I'm swamped. I feel like I'm stuck. I almost feel like giving up. But she's got a lot of money invested in the thing. What do you say to somebody who hasn't gone through our system yet? So they're not where you are and they maybe feel stuck.
Don't give up hope. There's a path out of your misery. And that's joining the Thrivetime and reading books and learning and being a doer. Prior to joining Thrivetime, I wasn't a reader, and now I am. And I just started out with telling myself, I love to read, I love to read, I love to read. I didn't start that day reading, but it just kept soaking in. And I picked up a book and I started reading. And that gave me hope and a vision. And that's what people need.
It's interesting you say that because there was a client of mine, I won't mention his name, but he was telling me, I really don't like to read books, let alone write them. I don't like to read books, and I definitely don't want to write them. And now this particular individual, I'll be vague about what he does and what industry he's in, but now he writes books and he sells thousands of them. And he had to tell himself, okay, if you're telling me you know how to turn an idea into a book, and he said to me, well, why would somebody want to read my book? And I go, because you have a problem that you can solve, and I know that you uniquely can solve the problem. So you could write a book that will teach people how to solve the problem, and people will pay for the solution. So with your company now, you're in the industry where you're doing you solve problems. What kind of problems do you solve for your company?
Well, on the technical level or on the business level?
On the technical level, like what kind of problems, when a customer calls you, what problems are they typically having?
Lots of times that they don't have no heat or they don't have no cooling. And so they want us to come out and diagnose the problem and be forthright and not go there with the idea, I'm going to find a reason to upsell them on a new system when in reality, they just need a part replaced or they just need a general tune-up, a precision tune-up. And that's what we provide.
So what we do, and we work with every client, is we basically want to attack 13 areas of business improvement all at one time. And the first area is knowing your goals. And I always sit down with a client. We try to figure out, where are you now versus where do you want to get to? And I don't want you to share on today's show your, specific financial numbers. But as far as knowing your goals, how much did that help you initially, just having somebody working with you on a weekly basis that was aligned to help you achieve those goals?
Tremendously. I learned about tracking my numbers. I learned about accounting. I wasn't doing any of that. And so talking to Carter, who's my coach, he's helped me to understand those things and to realize those goals and put the numbers down and look at them every day to keep working for that.
This is powerful, folks. And again, someone says, well, this doesn't seem like a super complicated, circular, emotional based interview. This seems very literal. That's what it is. Box number 2, you got to know your break even numbers. You got to know, how much somethings do I have to sell to break even? And again, I'm not asking you to share your specific numbers, but how much does it help you to know, hey, we got to sell at least this much to pay my mortgage or my utilities or just to break even?
Well, it gives you peace of mind that you can make your employee wages paid, a peace of mind that you're going to be able to pay your rent, peace of mind that you can buy equipment so you can install it the next week.
And for people out there that don't know your industry, would you also refer to your industry as HVAC? Is that what people call HVAC?
Oh yeah, like I said, we're a family HVAC company. We do residential and light commercial. We specialize in quality installation, quality repair, and quality service.
Now, I talked to a gentleman today who happens to be in California, true story, who does what you do in the California area. And I hear all the time, people will say, because I'm in California, you don't understand. It's tough out here in California. It's tough. In one of our great clients, they're in New York. And I remember talking to this client, they're in New York, and they go, you don't understand what it's like to be a New York business owner. It is tough. And what I find is no matter where people live, they always will find that is the excuse that they're going to give themselves if they want to. Or I find people, no matter where in the country they live, they'll make that the kind of the motivator. They'll say, in spite of the fact that I live in this city or this state or wherever, I'm going to have success. Do you feel like that the success you're having is accelerated because you live just outside of Seattle? I mean, is Seattle booming? Is that what's driving your success?
Yeah, Seattle area and the suburbs are highly densely populated. But you know what's generated our success is the integrity and the honesty that we deal with the customer. People are craving for contractors to be truthful. And when you are and you deal with them on that level, they become your relational customer,
I
a
believe
long-time customer.
I believe in that. I believe in that. Now, box number 4, we have to figure out your unique value proposition. I want everybody to go with me right now. We're going to go to the website, absoluteheatingcooling.com. Everybody put it in your web browser right now. Search for it. Find it, absoluteheatingcooling.com. Everybody go there right now. I'm going there. You're going there. Everybody's going there. absoluteheatingcooling.com. What we have to do with your business, Jay, and for every business, is we've got to make your website look first class. And it doesn't mean that your website is done. We're not done improving it, but we have to get it done, and then we have to keep perfecting it until it's perfect. So I want to get your thought here. With your website right now, how much of an impact has it made on your business having your website updated and reinvigorated?
Oh, tremendously. We had a website through another contractor, and we barely got any leads. I probably could count them, and we had it up for over a year or more, and I can count on one hand how many leads we got off it. And now we've been with you going on 10 months, and we get leads. It's amazing.
You're getting leads. And again, if you're watching this show and you say, I feel discouraged, I feel like I'm frustrated, I'm telling you, Jay can do it, you can do it. Next box number 5, you got to improve that branding. Your website, your print pieces, your auto wraps, everything has to be awesome or nothing, great or nothing. Jay, how much has it helped you knowing that, hey, frankly, I mean, full disclosure, you're paying us $1,700 a month, and that includes everything. So we guide you down the path, but knowing that you have how much, I guess, has that helped you knowing that you have a team that's going to do everything that we're asking you to do from a branding perspective, website, photography, video, search engine, video, online ads, all of that's included in that flat monthly fee?
It's been tremendous. I can't say enough about it. Carter keeps me accountable. He keeps me focused on working on the business and implementing things that we need to work on to keep growing the business. When we first started with you, I had 4 employees, and now I'm up to 10 employees. And it's all because of the work we're getting. We're getting more and more work.
Amen. And that's why we do it. Now, again, money's a magnifier. So if you're watching this show right now and you're a jerk, if you have a lot of money, you'll become a huge jerk. And one thing I have found in my life, I mean this, Jay, I have seen people in my life in a 4-year period of time, 5-year period of time, go from a humble, coachable person to a massive jerk. And it hasn't happened once or twice or 3 times. It's happened a lot because money's a magnifier. And so money just allows you to give more if you're a giver. It allows you to take more steroids if you want to take steroids. It allows you to be cold to people, really cold. If you're a person who wants to be cold, it allows you to be really cold. If you're a person who wants to be nice and giving to the community or to the people around you, it allows you to be to do that to a greater extent. As your company has grown, what has it done for you? And again, I'm not fishing for those numbers, but what has it done for you knowing that, wow, we've got a little extra money now. We're able to pay the bills. We're not in panic mode. What's that done for you, just your mindset or you and your family and what you've been able to do?
Well, first of all, I've been able to give more to my church. Second of all, I've been able also to bless my employees by buying them some stuff. And one example was you brought up Mike Lindell, and we bought bed sheets for everybody and pillowcases for everybody. And I know that's kind of quirky sounding, but I totally got into it. It was a blessing.
That's the kind of stuff. I'm just telling you, folks, once you grow a successful company, it's going to allow you to give more, to be more. Okay, now box number 6, you have to have a 3-legged marketing stool. Now, we're kind of pacing ourselves. I want to respect your time. But a 3-legged marketing stool is you have to have a proven turnkey system in place that allows you to gain more customers without needing to do the following 5 things, without needing to go viral. Hello? Because if your business model is based upon you going viral, then you have to think about going viral. 2, it doesn't require you to geographically travel the earth. Jay, you don't have to circumnavigate America in order to generate leads. 3, you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be a genius. What if your marketing plan involved you being a genius and traveling around all the time and going viral? You wouldn't have time freedom or financial freedom. 4, it's profitable. What does it profit you if you have a marketing strategy that makes everyone around you poor? And it allows you to gain customers, but you don't actually do it profitably. I mean, what if you have to pay your employees nothing and you don't have any profit left to pay your partners? What's the point of it? And the 5th thing, your marketing system, it needs to be something that allows you to create time freedom and financial freedom. Jay, if you had a marketing system that required you to be up at night till 10 o'clock every night, responding to things and posting things and going viral for things and constantly reaching out to people on social media, you wouldn't have much in the way of time freedom. So I want to get your thoughts. What's it meant for you and your wife and your family to have a turnkey marketing system that generates you leads day in, day out?
It's been tremendous. One part of the marketing leg was working our dream list with property management companies and with HOA associations and churches, just consistently reaching out to those in places once a week. Now all of a sudden we don't have a low period and a high period because of reaching out to those places. We've been able to fill the low with service work and keeping our employees employed. It's tremendous.
Now, you have this thing called the Dream 100 that you do, and I want you to talk about that. Chet Holmes, the best-selling author of The Ultimate Sales Machine, he's the one that came up with the system. It's the Ultimate Sales Machine, written by Chet Holmes. Incredible book. Chet Holmes, may he rest in peace. But he talks about making a list of your ideal and likely buyers and relentlessly reaching out to them to tell them, hey, we exist and we can solve problems for you. Could you tell us a little bit more about your Dream 100 system and how you do that? Because you do it very well.
Well, I watched your video on your Tower of Power, and then I just implemented the plan. And that was for a 3 or 4 week stretch. We just sent them a 1 sheet all about us. And then after that, we would show up with a little gift bag and talk about just opportunities that, hey, we're just there to help you. And if there's ever a time you need an HVAC company to work on any kind of your systems like fireplaces or heating and cooling, we'll be there. And we'd love to get your packet so that we're all signed up and ready to go. And all you got to do is call us. It's been tremendous.
Now, again, you are doing it. You're following the systems. That's called the Dream 100 system. That's one part of the system. Box number 7, for sake of time, we have to have great sales systems. You got to have sales scripts, recorded calls, 1 sheets. That's like a marketing brochure. You have to have pre-written emails and a tracking system. We do all that. We're doing all that. Have we done all of it? No. Are we building all of it? Yes. We're getting there. And again, Jay, if you had to describe the growth you've had, You're stuck in an elevator with somebody and they go, come on, how much growth have you really had? If you had to describe it, I mean, you said you went from what you said, a couple tech or 4 techs to
4 to 10. Yeah. In 10 months. It's been 10 months. Yeah.
It's powerful. I'm telling you, folks, you can do it. If you're watching this and you feel discouraged right now, you can do it. And to quote the guy who follows Adam Sandler around in his movies, you can do it. Yes. Rob Schneider. Yes, you can do it. Okay. Box number 8. You have to determine a sustainable customer acquisition cost. So how much does it cost you to gain a new customer? You have to track that. If you don't track it, again, you must measure what you treasure. You will slack where you don't track. What am I saying? You have to measure what you treasure. You will slack where you don't track. It is so important. So again, we track all the numbers. So we know that, Jay, you're getting business from your Dream 100 marketing. You're reaching out to people that don't know you and you're saying, hello, we would love to serve you and provide services for you. And we know it's working because we track. What would happen, Jay, if you didn't track weekly, every single week with Carter and our entire coaching team?
We would we'd be lost, and we wouldn't know how much money we're spending on advertising. And prior to that, we were spending probably $150 a week on Google advertising. And now, because we're implementing your processes, we're getting Google reviews and video reviews, and you guys are doing the HTML content on our website. We're down to like $5 now a day, $28 a week spending on Google ads, which is tremendous. But I want to backtrack one thing, Clay, when we talked about the previous one, is we didn't have hardly any maintenance agreements signed up with our customers. And so we slowly been working on that. And then we have stand-up crew meetings at 7:45. And in that, we do some job role shadowing where we try to help our techs work with objections, overcoming objections with customers. And that's been tremendous. And that has increased our maintenance program big time. Plus, we incentivize our technicians with money to talk to our customers to sign up with the 3 options of a maintenance agreement.
Again, you're doing a daily huddle. We teach that. We teach that, folks. That's something we teach. I'm telling you, if you have a business and you hate yourself, don't do a daily huddle. So we're moving on to box number 9. You have to create to build an organization. You have to be organized. What? Yes. So to build an organization, you have to be organized. You can't spend your entire meeting looking for passwords and documents. You've got to save things properly, file, nomenclature, saving passwords in the right place. I can't tell you how many clients I meet with, wonderful people. They're going, I haven't updated my website in 4 years. I say, why not? They say, I can't find the passwords. So you got to have systems and processes. Box number 10, you got to manage people. This just in. You can't just hire people. It requires teamwork to make the dream work. Jay, you've got those daily huddles going, those daily standing meetings. How much has that impacted you, having those daily standing huddles where you get on the same page with everybody before you start your day?
They're huge. They create a teamwork atmosphere. Everybody knows what needs to happen and what needs to get done, and everybody knows what we need to get done to be profitable, so that we can then pay our employees more money. That's important.
Again, folks, there's so many things that Jay's doing. He's doing it well. I'm just super excited for Jay to be able to encourage everybody out there. Box number 11, you got to have a repeatable, sustainable weekly schedule. There's always one more job, one more opportunity, one more crisis. You got to be able to schedule. And Jay, you've done that. You're doing that. It's always something we're working on. Box number 12, again, I mentioned it earlier. It requires teamwork to make the dream work. You've got to have a system in place for hiring, inspiring, training, and retaining. You have to have a system in place to hire, inspire, train, and retain. Once again, you have to have a system in place to hire, inspire, train, and retain. If you cannot find good people, train good people, yes, even in Seattle, someone says, you can't find good people in Seattle? Oh, yeah, you can. People say, you can't find good people in California? Oh, yes, you can. Could you talk about the hiring process, the hiring systems, and how much that's impacted you, being able to now find good people, hire, inspire, train, and retain good people?
Sure. Before Thrive, I would interview people one at a time. And that was a waste of my time, because sometimes I'd interview 4 people and there went 4 hours of my life. And then I learned about the group interview. And so we started scheduling that. And it's been incredible. You can find the A players in those kind of situations. And that's so beneficial to us. And plus, I don't waste 4 hours. I'm only concentrating on 1 hour, and it's been super beneficial. I got to also, when I went down to the Thrivetime conference last month, I got to watch you do the interviews, and you just made it so easy and understanding. And I was putting too much stress on myself, and I followed your advice, and then I read the little sheet of paper you handed out talking about Adam Sandler and his. I even put that into my interview
It
process
just
just to
lightens it up a
de-escalate
little bit.
things.
It lightens it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say this for anybody out there watching. We had 31 people that were supposed to be at our interview on Wednesday night. 31. Which is more than 30, by the way. And you would think, wow, how are you going to interview 31 people at the same time? And I'm counting, and 7 people showed up, but of the 7 that showed up, we only had 2 that I could count that mentally showed up. What am I saying? Only 2 of those 7 even showed up anywhere close to on time. So, and these aren't like early morning interviews. These aren't late night interviews. This is 5:30 p.m. So I'm just telling you folks, you got to do this process for hiring people. My final question I would ask you for anybody out there, my final 2 questions for anybody out there that is not a client, that is not paying our team $1,700 a month to help them start and grow a successful company. Could you describe what kind of impact has it made on you, your business, your family?
Like I told you earlier in the interview, Clay, I was suffocating. I was, like I said, I was doing the business since 2009, and everything was going through me. And at a point, it's a breaking point, and that's where I think businesses just cave in and give up. And I found you on Rumble, and I started listening to you, and I told myself that it's possible. This guy's system is possible, and I can see hope, and I could keep the business going. And I just encourage people, if you're on the fence, get off the fence and try it. What do you have to gain? Everything. There's a proven path. There's a way to get through it, and there's hope, and and the vision becomes clear.
Final question is, how would you describe the conferences? Because I never know how you guys are going to react, because people like Dr. Zellner show up, or Tim Tebow, or Eric Trump, or we bring in a lot of people. The room is filled with clients who are successful, so we bring up client success stories. And the way it works is we do 30 minutes of teaching, and then I do a 15-minute Q&A, and those questions are based upon the questions that attendees are writing on the whiteboard. So I never know how it's going to go. I know we're going to cover the systems, but how would you describe the conferences?
They're incredible. They're full of energy. And then when you have a break, you can talk to people that are in the business too, and learn from them. And also sometimes give it some advice that, hey, I went through that. And so I started doing a calendar, and it's helped me keep on task. And I started doing a to-do list, and it's helped me to keep on task. And there's hope. There's a way to get out of it and to move on.
I'll give you the final word, final 30 seconds. Anybody watching this right now, maybe someone feels down in the dumps. They feel like they are stuck with their business. What do you say?
No, you're not stuck. I would join and learn from them and implement, be a diligent doer. Just, does it happen in one day? No. Does it happen in 1 week? No. But if you're just willing to keep trying and peck at it, you'll see it turning. You'll see some improvement, and you'll get hope, and your vision will clear up.
Jay, thank you so much for your time, for your energy. And for anybody out there, if you learned anything on today's show, I want you to share this show with a friend. Surely you shall share. If you're watching this right now and you learned something, share it with a friend. And I would encourage you to check out that website, absoluteheatingcooling.com. Jay's a real guy. He has a real business, a great family. That's absoluteheatingcooling.com. And by the way, folks, a little search engine tip. It does help Jay's website rank higher. Thus, it will benefit him in the short term and the long term if everybody goes to visit that website. So everybody right now, go with me now. Go to absoluteheatingcooling.com. That's absoluteheatingcooling.com. Jay, it's an honor to know you, sir, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Clay. It's an honor to talk to you.
Bye-bye.
I'm Glenn Shaw, owner of Shaw Homes in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Started the company in 1985. At that time, it was one employee doing everything, me. I met Aaron Antis in 2007. The top three things that Aaron did for Shaw Homes was he brought in processes that helped us be able to repeat over and over. He brought in unique hiring skills. He was able to find the right people for the right seat on the bus. And Aaron brought sales techniques that we weren't familiar with up until that time. When Aaron came, we were selling about 80, 85 houses a year. And during the 16-year period, we saw sales get up over 400. And before I met Aaron, the only sales manager we had was myself, and I was completely unable to perform that job. And so Aaron brought major changes and great results with them. In the many years that I was building houses before Aaron, I was great at selling if somebody wanted to buy, but they had to be knocking on my door asking me to sell them a house before I could actually make that sell. I had no sales techniques and no ability to generate sales. Aaron coming in as a natural salesperson just absolutely transformed that and made the sales experience better for the company and better for our buyers. Well, prior to Aaron, I would work all week for the company. I'd sit in the model home over the weekend, and I had a salesperson or two, but I was actually out there all weekend working that. Since hiring Aaron, I was able to take my weekends off, even reduce my workload during the week. I went from working 60, 70 hours a week to almost a normal workload. So I've been a member of the Builder 20 program in the National Association of Home Builders for 20 years. And during that time, I've seen a lot of sales managers with the other companies that have been involved. And in my opinion, Aaron is smarter and sharper than any sales manager of any builder that's ever been in our group. Now, some markets, they don't have to try to sell, they just sell themselves. But with the ability to sell and to train and hire, Aaron was better than any of those sales managers that were in my program. Well, I remember when I considered hiring Aaron many years ago, the thought of spending the extra money was a little scary, but in hindsight, it was one of the best things I've ever done. It freed my time, increased our sales, and at the end of the day, increased our profitability beyond my wildest expectations. Years ago, I was concerned that if I didn't do whatever a customer asked me to do, it might be the last house I sold. And so over time, we were able to move away from unlimited customization to pre-designed options. The problem that we were having in those days is that the customer would tell us what they wanted, but they didn't really know what they wanted. And we would deliver exactly what they told us to do, and they wouldn't be happy with it. So as we became more standardized, we give lots of options, but we don't customize. And in the end, that allows us to sell more homes for better margins than spending countless hours trying to customize in just every avenue of the sales process. We get weekly reports on sales, on profitability, on production, and it provides all the manageable tools that I need to review the company from a 10,000-foot level.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, what we're going to focus on is how to grow a successful company. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a graphic that is the theory of how to grow a successful company, but vision without execution is hallucination. And so if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire, you can download a book that I have written called A Millionaire's Guide, How to Become Sustainably Rich. You can download it for free at thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire, but you have to actually implement that which is in the book. And so on today's show, we're joined by a very successful successful person in the home building business, a great friend of mine, a man by the name of Aaron Antis. Aaron Antis, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Clay. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, so I got to ask you this for the people out there that want to prove you're not a hologram. First off, what's the website for your company so people can verify that you are, in fact, a real business?
You bet. It's shawhomes.com. SHAWHOMES.com. Shawhomes.com.
I'm pulling it up, shawhomes.com. Pulling it up. That's the website, shawhomes.com.
Yep.
And when you and I met, before we met, you had been already very successful as a home builder. You turned your dream of being a home builder guy into reality.
Yeah.
So how many homes had you sold, or what kind of sales had you done in your career as a home builder guy before you and I even met?
Before we met, probably about 750 million in sales prior to meeting you.
And then you did the year we first started working together. What were the sales totals that year?
We were at like 19 million.
19 million. And then when you ended 2022, obviously we're in 2023, and so we'll see how this year ends. But as far as ending 2022, how much sales did you do last year at the end of 2022?
2022, we were at like 84 million.
Okay, so from 19 million to
84 million.
84 million. So you're doing some things right here. And what we're going to try to do is kind of demystify the plan here. Okay, so here we go. So establishing revenue goals.
Yep.
When you and I first started working together, we started off with a 13-point assessment. We went over your goals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to ask you to share your goals on the air, but why is it important that you have goals?
Well, I mean, goals are sort of your guideposts that, you set something out there in front of you and you start chasing after it. And without that, you're just kind of floundering in mediocrity. You don't have any reason to get up in the morning and really get after it. And so, I think goals are, you can have lots of different types of goals. And we've talked about a lot of this. We've talked about, having financial goals and having, fitness goals and having friendship goals and just all these different areas. I know you've got the F6, so that's kind of something that, we touched on very early on. You asked me, like, is one of your goals more income or is it more time? And so I said, well, really, at this point, it's more income. And then later it became more time. So, it's changed over the time I've known you since 2016. We're going on 7 years and the income went up considerably. So now it's, turned in the last couple of years towards more time.
Now, the break-even numbers, again, I'm not asking you for the numbers on the show, but you guys have a lot of fixed costs. I mean, if you go to shawhomes.com, you've got framers, you have plumbers, you have the tile people, you have so many skilled people, you have a full-time sales team, you have an admin staff. And if you don't sell a house, you still have the service of the land, you still have all the overhead. Why is it important for every listener out there to know their break-even point? How many deals they need per month just to break even?
Well, yeah, because you're going backwards real quick, and it doesn't take very long if you're at the beginning of your business. It doesn't take very long for you to be in a place where, the creditors are knocking at your door and you're, you can't pay your bills, and all of a sudden you're going to lose all for us, all of our trades, all of our suppliers are going to start backing out. So, you've got to know what that number is that lets you tread water so that, okay, this is the worst case scenario. Everything above that, at least I'm into the profit zone. So, you go out of business pretty quick. Most businesses don't last more than just a few months if they get below that break-even number. So
now, folks, again, these might seem like simple steps, but they're all the linear steps you have to take to create time freedom and financial freedom. And if you want to grow your company, this is how you do it. Box number 3, though, is you have to know the hours you're willing to work. Now, your incredible wife is here off camera for accountability. So at any point, she could yell like, "Hey, man," or "Boo." But you guys are on the same page with the hours you're willing to work. And you guys, as a couple, I want to brag on both of you. You guys both committed to sacrificing time and energy and a lot of things to get to where you're at in life.
Yeah.
And then as you had your children, you raised them, you decided to devote time to raising said kids. Yeah. And now that your kids are older, you're devoting time to raising these kids. So it's not like you abdicated being a parent while also growing a company. You did both well. I'd love to get your thoughts on sitting down with your spouse, if you're watching this today, or your significant other, and making sure you're on the same page about how many hours per week you're willing to work.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't want to grow a business to, make a whole bunch of money just so you can split it in half later.
Oh,
Because that's kind of what happens when you
personal.
don't work out those details ahead of time. And so my wife and I have been married 25 years. We've been together for 4 before that. And so yeah, 26. Did I just say 25?
But real quick, just I hate to do this to
I
you.
just got in trouble.
I hate to. Your wife just turned 27 on Thursday, and what you said is 100% false. Okay, so the unique value proposition here. Now let's talk about this. Whether it's growing a home building company or a dog training business or a haircut chain or a carpet cleaning franchise or whatever business we're involved in helping to grow, you have to sit down as a listener out there, as a business owner. You got to figure out what makes your company unique.
Absolutely.
So I want to ask you, what makes Shaw Homes unique in the marketplace with other home builders?
Yeah, we have more furnished and decorated model homes than any other builder in the market. So, a lot of times people, when they walk into a home and they're trying to decide if they like the floor plan, the layout, whatever, most builders in our market have an empty house that they walk into. It's just kind of echoes when you walk through it. There's no furniture or anything. And we completely, as you can see in this little video here, we completely furnish and decorate it, make it beautiful. We are the most award-winning builder in the state of Oklahoma. We've won like 5 times as many awards as any other builder in the market. So definitely that is one of our big, takeaways.
And I'm going to throw you under the bus real quick, and I don't mean to do this super passively aggressively. It'll just be more of a subtle passive aggressive. When I met you, you guys had all these awards, but no one knew.
That's true.
It was like this weird, bizarre thing where you had all these awards. I remember talking to you, and I'm like, what makes you guys different? And you're like, we do a good job. And you're being nice about it. You're a good salesperson. But I said, well, tell me about the awards. And you're like, well, we got this award, that award.
This is true.
This award, like 45 minutes later, it's like that award. This award, I need to shave now. This award, that award, I need to go brush my teeth. This award, that award, I want to go mow the lawn now. This award, that award, I'm thinking about retiring. This award, that my kids are turning 18. I can see it. This award, you're just going, and this award, and that award. And so we put those on the website, and that helped. And the other thing you guys we needed to change was all these people were saying great things, but we didn't have video reviews of them saying it on camera.
Right.
So it was like your online reputation didn't match your real world reputation. You had so much good momentum there, and so many people loved you guys. And now you guys have, would you say, 100 video reviews?
Oh gosh, I would say more than that. We've got, we have a lot.
And every week
you could just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
I was scrolling.
And this is actually all that's on this page. If you go to our YouTube channel, we have way more than this. So yeah.
So again, and this is all the stuff. You're going to grow a successful company, folks. Step 1, you got to figure out your revenue goals. Step 2, you got to figure out your break-even goals. Step 3, sit down for an hour of power. Sit down with your spouse. Make sure that you guys are on the same page of your hours you're willing to work. Step 4, unique value proposition. Figure out what it is that makes you unique. And we have an in-depth guide that you can download for free at thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire if you get stuck. Next box, you got to improve your branding, your website, your one sheet, in your case, model home presentations, business cards, social media branding. Everything that a customer sees needs to be first class. And I was talking to a guy named Ronnie Morales today, and it's Morales Brothers. I think you met him at a conference. He told me this, and I'm not slamming Ronnie. Ronnie, if you're listening, I'm not slamming you. This is the real thing. Ronnie said he listened to our show for 7 consecutive years before ever reaching out. And now he's reached out and he's up 57% in about 8 months.
That's awesome.
And we're going to put his story on part 2 of today's show because he's in Texas.
Cool.
And he's 7 years behind you.
Yeah.
But he's doing a great job.
Good for him.
What do you think that thing is where people have bad branding and they are not, is it, we're not aware of it? Is it someone hasn't brought it to our attention? What causes bad branding?
The number one thing I hear business owners say is, well, I don't really need good branding because I sell everything by word of mouth.
Oh yeah, baby.
Like I've got such an incredible reputation.
You do.
That everybody just comes to me by word of mouth.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, yeah, but how much business did you do last year? Well, not very much. And, I'm really unprofitable, but I've got great, reputation out there and I get a lot of word of mouth. So when people switch over to starting to improve branding, I know you helped us a lot with that in just creating a lot better looking website, creating we've got an office environment now that is, when people walk into our model home, they are blown away. We truly wow our customers when they come to our model homes.
Yep.
It's a one-of-a-kind experience in the state of Oklahoma. And the process of that, just going through branding it so that it looks really top notch. And, that includes everything from, marketing to all of your senses and everything else. So it just really brought us to another level. And when the customer comes in and experiences us after having walked through other builders' homes, they usually come in and go, you guys are just on a whole nother level.
It's sights, sounds, smells, experiences, everything that your customer sees, they're grading you on. And you might not know that they are even judging you because they're not filling out the form. And I have a funny story to share with you that's kind of sad. I was working with a fitness guy years ago, and I'm not going to tell you what state he's in or what city, folks, but I know you want to know, but I'm not going to tell you. And he filled out the form because his wife wanted him to schedule a 13-point assessment. He did not want to.
Yep.
And he tells me, Clay, honestly, I'm just doing the call because my wife wants me on the phone. And I got to, I don't get leads from social media. I don't get leads from marketing. I get all my leads word of mouth, like you were saying. And I said, well, let me just do this. Let's just, this first month working together, let me get all the passwords for your Facebook, your Google, your YouTube. And I'm just, as the first month, we do this with every single client.
Yeah.
We optimize your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, all that.
Yep.
We log on. This is a fitness guy. He was spending like $400 a week every week on ads.
Yeah.
And he hadn't known, he wasn't aware that every time a lead came in, it got stuck in Facebook and went to an email address that he wasn't checking.
Whoa.
So think about this.
That's not good.
And it's like 15 to 20 leads a week for years this guy had.
That's not good.
And he didn't even, and so I'm going, you're spending, 20 grand a year on ads that you're not getting things from. And are you aware that the phone number on your site rings to a phone that's no longer a real phone? And I'm serious, this was real. And then he had before and after photos where somebody had the idea of, let's get before and after photos, where you interview someone before they start working out.
Yeah.
But then they never completed the thought. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Where
yes.
it's like they interview them about getting in shape.
Yeah.
But then they never actually aired the part where they're in shape.
Oh no.
So it's just sort of like an interview with people that are not in shape. And I'm like, and again, he's busy guy, busy entrepreneur. That kind of stuff is very common. It's kind of laughable if it's not your company.
Yeah.
But okay, next box. You got to determine your customer acquisition costs. How much does it cost you to get a customer? So Aaron, you guys run ads on Google, on Facebook, on retargeting ads. You have massive signage. There's a lot of stuff you do.
Yep.
Why is it important to know how much it costs you at the end of the day to get an actual new buyer of a Shaw home?
Well, because if you want more of those, you know what it costs to go generate more of those. And it's, it's a cost where it's like, okay, well, I'm down in sales this month or this quarter or whatever, and I need 4 more sales to make it a good quarter here before the end of the quarter. And it's like, I know I can go put money into that, and it's going to cost me X number of dollars per customer to get there. And so then it's just a matter of, do I want to spend that money to get to that point? So, for us, it's, a pretty high number because it's a big ticket item, but for some people it might be, very small to get that, each customer. But for us, it's, you got to know what the number is, because ultimately that goes into the price of your product, and whatever you sell, we're doing homes. That is one of our line item costs in our homes.
That's what costs.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to any of the businesses that I'm involved in, you go to eitrlounge.com/staff. I put in the password here. Once I put in the password, I have all of the documents needed to run the company, and they're all saved. So the checklist for the manager, the opening checklist for the assistant manager, the bathroom cleaning checklist, everything needed to grow the company's all in one place. And therefore, the business, everybody who works there knows where to go to find those documents. This is the kind of stuff that fires me up, and it makes other people crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So with the conferences we do, if we ever do a conference that's out of town, I have a checklist of stuff I print out. I know it seems kind of crazy for people, but this is real. I print it out, and it's like, okay, socks. If I'm gone for 4 days, I want to have 12 pairs of socks. Why? Because it could be hot. I don't know. Could get wet. I don't know. I have a list of, deodorant and socks and shaving, and I have a laptop and a backup laptop, and I have patch cables and XLR cables, and we bring 3. You've seen all this stuff, but it's multiple monitors, backup monitors. It's backups for everything. When you guys build a Shaw home, you're not moving off of guesswork. There's blueprints, there's plans, there's systems, so houses don't fall down. There's somebody out here listening right now that doesn't have systems in place. They don't have checklists.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have it, and so they have to think about everything all the time, because if not, they forget a step.
Yeah.
what would you say is the importance of having taken the time to have built these systems now?
It is the night and day difference between running around like your hair is on fire every day, constantly playing firefighter, or, you hear people say, oh, I'm up to my armpits in alligators, It's because you don't have systems and processes. And every time at Shaw Homes, every time that we have a problem come up, we automatically go, okay, what step in our system did this fall apart in?
Yep.
And what's broken in that step? And how can we fix it so it never happens again? So we go fix the process. We address the problem for the customer, but then we go back after that and we go, how do we fix the process so we don't repeat this problem? And the business owners that are running around with their hair on fire all the time, it's because there's no systems, no processes. Everything is urgent. Everything is hair on fire.
Correct.
And it is a chaos world that you live in. And if you're going to build homes for a living and build a lot of them, you cannot live in that chaos world.
Now, this next box, I get excited about all these boxes. This is what I get excited about. This right here is what I care about. Okay. The next box is management and execution. You have people on your team, and I'm just going to give some examples, and I hope this benefits somebody out there listening. You have people on your team. It's their responsibility every time that you do a new house. They go out there and they design, or they get the blueprint on the website.
Yep.
They get the new design of the home because people want to see floor plans.
Yep.
So somebody's job is to get those up there.
Yes.
Somebody gets photos of every house that you guys are building.
Yeah.
Somebody gets videos of every house. Somebody puts them all up for sale. Somebody answers the phone every day.
Yes.
Somebody calls the leads every day.
Every day.
Somebody cleans the bathroom every day. Somebody builds the houses every day. Now, this is what I find, and I'm sure none of our listeners can relate to this. Some of our listeners fire people and then nothing happens. So work with me on this. There's listeners out there that I talk to them every day because we do free 13-point assessments. So I talk to 2 or 3 people a day who go to thrivetimeshow.com. They want to schedule a consultation. And the other day you heard me talking to Jordan. I said, Jordan, go ahead and keep setting those, because we set an appointment with someone who's definitely not a good fit.
Yep.
And you could tell he had a little, question if that was okay. And I said, I would rather you set an appointment with somebody than not, because I don't know if who's a good fit or not,
Yeah.
But the idea, though, is I sit down. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he was like, the reason why my team did not get Google reviews or reviews this week is because we fired a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, because I'm just asking him, where are we stuck? What's your biggest limiting factor? I have a big process I go through in my evaluation.
Yep.
And I said, who calls the leads? He's like, well, normally I have a person that calls the leads, but we just fired her. And I mean this. I'm going, how long have you been in business? This guy's been in business for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's reaching out for help. Good person. We're trying to help him. I think it's going to be a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
But so I said, so basically everybody follows the systems until they don't work there anymore. And then no one does the systems. And you go back and forth vacillating from things being done to not being done.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite things about working with you guys is that you're honest people. What does that mean? You do your best to do what you say you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you hold yourself and the employees accountable.
Absolutely.
But what would happen if every week if somebody wasn't performing, you removed them from the position, and then the houses weren't built for the week because something wasn't going well, or because maybe a salesperson wasn't performing at the peak, you let them go, and the next thing you know, what would happen if you managed your company that way?
It would be a disaster. I mean, I can't just fire my superintendent without having somebody already ready to take over all of those responsibilities, because I've got materials showing up at the job site today, tomorrow, and the next day. I've got trades showing up who need some supervision, need to know what they're supposed to be doing. If I fire that guy with no warning, somebody else has to come fill in that position. So, for us, we try to never have that gap happen. And, sometimes it's like, that you're going to need to fire somebody and you can see the writing on the wall.
Right.
But you want to get the next person up and ready to go before that happens.
And you guys have a weekly meeting. So we talk a lot on the show from an employer perspective, but how frustrating would it be to be an A-player employee and you're working for a C-player boss? A boss that doesn't have a staff meeting, that's not organized, that doesn't pay people on time, that's constantly emotional. I see that a lot. And so management is a learned skill.
Yes,
and thankfully, when I first met with you, you'd already really mastered, in my opinion, managing people. But this next box is where I thought we needed some help, was to build a system for constantly recruiting new people, because certain people work for Shaw Homes for 3 years or 4 years, and then they want to go move, they want to have a baby, they want to stay home, they want to get a new job. And even though you have low turnover at Shaw, certain people get to their expiration date and it's time for them to move on to something else. And because we didn't have a process in place at Shaw at that time to consistently bring in a pipeline of new people, it made it difficult to do the management that was needed. Can you talk about the importance of implementing a human resources program for hiring, inspiring, training, and retaining good people?
It's huge. I mean, that was definitely an Achilles heel for us. And you helped us a lot with that. Putting in where every single week I'm seeing, potential candidates that could come work for us, and they're job shadowing and seeing what it's like to work in our company every single week. It does multiple things. It helps the people who work there to know, hey, there's other people who desire to come work here.
Here we go.
And, if I'm not doing my job, I might get replaced. So there's a little bit of that. And then it's also a thing of, the people who are shadowing get to see the job being done by people who are happy doing their job. And it helps them to want to come be a part of Shaw Homes. I've got a very long list of people right now in every single position that would be excited to come work for us if I did all of a sudden find myself with an opening, because occasionally people leave with no notice or whatever, something happens, family emergency, whatever.
Right.
And you have that, I need to replace somebody immediately. And the great thing about it is I have a whole bunch of people that I could plug into that position very quickly, because every single week I am interviewing.
Now, the next box here is you got to do your accounting, and in order to earn millions, you have to automate your accounting. What does that mean? You have to have a system in place for making sure you price your products and services correctly, and that you pay yourself first, that you set aside a set amount of money to pay yourself and your staff. And all these things work together. And what I find is people ask me, often just not knowing, they come from a place of a good heart, they don't know. They say to me, Clay, what is the most important step in growing Shaw Homes? I've heard Aaron on the show. He's a great guy. Clay, I've heard PMH OKC on the show. Clay, I've seen OxyFresh on the show. What was the most important thing they did? And to me, that's like asking a hiker, what was the most important step you took to get to the top of that mountain? Well, it was the one we took there an hour ago. I took a left step. No, it's that gasket of baker. What's the most important ingredient? Is it milk? Is it sugar? Is it eggs? Is it, it's like asking a farmer, what's the most important thing, feeding the animals or watering them? What's the key to your success? There's just certain questions that I understand people want to know, but all of this has to work together, and nothing works unless you do. So I have 3 final questions for you. For anybody out there that's thinking about scheduling a consultation, a free consultation with thrivetimeshow.com and myself, obviously they're stuck with me if they fill out the form. I'm the only person that does 13-point assessments.
Right.
I believe I've seen it since 2005. We help people decrease their costs, increase their time freedom and profits. What would you say is the benefit of scheduling that 13-point assessment?
Well, actually, the 13-point assessment was very eye-opening for me. You asked me a lot of tough questions that I probably should have been asking myself and wasn't. And so as we went through the questions, I was like, I think at every question you asked me, I was like, oh, that's a good question. And I was like, hang on, let me think about that for a minute. So I find that it kind of helps open your eyes to, these are some things that I know I have some areas of weakness. And then there were, I think, a couple of the questions where I was like, oh, I know the answer to this one. I got this one, no problem. But it helps you sort of identify. I walked away having identified areas of strength and areas of weakness, even though that really wasn't the purpose of the phone call necessarily. It helped me to see that. And then I was like, I think I have a need in a couple of these areas, and I didn't really know what to do for myself. I didn't have the answers.
In part 3 of today's show, part 2, we're going to show the Ronnie Morales story. On part 3, we're going to do a testimony with Myron. And Myron just bought his first Lamborghini today, and he's super fired up. And so Myron's about 6 years down the path. We've been working with you for about 8 years, whereas Ronnie's been with us for less than a year. And it's at a certain point that we have to take action. Knowledge without application is meaningless. What would you say to somebody who's like, it's $1,700 a month, and I'm spending that much right now on random ads and that much money on random regrettable purchases at the gas station, and a lot of iTunes I'm downloading. I'm spending $1,700 a month on various things, and I don't know if I can afford it because I've just bought another vehicle that I can't afford, but I'm leasing it. What would you say to anybody who's kind of on that fence?
I would say you need to do it. It has been a game changer for us. I don't know why you would sit there and think $1,700 a month is too much money to spend. Go find the money somewhere. Go empty out your sofa cushions. Go sell the stuff that you have in your house that you're not using. Go get, whatever you need to do to get to that place. You need to find that $1,700. And I will say this, that cost was very quickly replaced with the extra money we were making. And I've actually seen, because I've been around you for a long time, I've seen a lot of your clients come in and right off the bat, they're real nervous about, am I going to be able to, because maybe they're a smaller company or whatever. Right. And they're like, I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to handle this $1,700 a month. And then I see them 6 months later and I'm like, how's it going now? And they're like, man, we're just hitting record after record. I have referred several business owners
and they're doing great,
that are killing it. And that, I'll give one example. I won't name the person, but I did send one of my very good friends to you who was on the verge of losing his business because he just wasn't able. He had bought another one of the shops of what he does. Yep. He opened it and it was not profitable and it was going to take under both of his shops. And I sent him over to you. And I remember about 3 months later, I asked him, how's it going? And he goes, man, we just had a record-breaking month. This was amazing. And
by the way, said person just hit another record-breaking month, just so you know.
Yeah, and I know right now, not only does he have way more income, but he has a lot more time freedom because he's been working with you for many years now. And so it changed his life just like it changed my life. I would say if you're thinking about, doing a 13-point assessment, stop thinking, dial the phone, pause this video, make the phone call, reach out to Clay, get it started right now.
Now, final question I have is, I think people look at oxyfresh.com and they go, man, there's 500 locations now.
Yeah.
They look at Elephant in the Room and they go, there's 5 brick and mortar locations now. They look at Shaw Homes and they go, these are big success stories. Yeah. I don't know that I can do it. What would you say to somebody out there that just feel like they might not have all this stuff they're going to learn is going to be over their head, too complicated? What would you say?
I would say the information, the ideas are easy. It's the application that is difficult for people. The ideas that you share, there's nothing that's like, oh my God, I don't have a PhD, therefore I can't do it. I feel like it's all very, very simple stuff, but it is a lot of action to get traction. And you got to get the action going. And I think if somebody has diligence and discipline or can learn diligence or discipline, they're going to do extremely well. And it's not about education. It's about action.
Now, Aaron, I got one thing I want to say, and then we'll kind of wrap up today's show, okay, with a boom, because boom stands for big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum. And that's what's required to have success. People watching this, they're going, wow, Aaron, he looks like a normal guy. Well, that's true. They say, well, he sounds like a normal guy. Sounds like an all right guy. That's true. But the one thing you can't quite picture on the show, and I want to just give that gift to you folks who are watching, is Aaron smells tremendous. It's like if you had smell-o-vision, if you could just get up there and just smell that thing, it's incredible. And it's really, it's his aroma that allows him to achieve massive success. So if you're out there and you're going, what's the secret sauce? It's not a sauce. It's more of just a smell. So I don't know if you qualify to have the kind of success he has unless you smell like he smells. It's a really tremendous smell. Okay, let's end this thing with a boom. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Well, Thrive Nation, we have an opportunity all the time. Okay, Aaron Antis, guess who's joining us for the December 4th and 5th, 2025 Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop?
Whoa. Ooh, Santa Claus?
No, we will not be joined by Santa Claus, but we will be joined by Eric Trump, the son of the 45th and now 47th President of these United States. And yes, Amanda Grace will be in the place. And yes, Dr. Stella Manuel will be there, so it will go well. Yes, we have Mel K in the house. Pastor Phil and Tammy Hotson-Pillar will be hosting this event at their beautiful church right there in sunny Anaheim, California. Yes, folks, make this a December to remember.
You surprised?
Make this a December to remember and join us at the 2-day interactive business growth workshops. For over 20 years, folks, I've been hosting business growth workshops where we're going to teach you marketing, sales systems, human resources, accounting, social media marketing, branding, sales training, search engine optimization, accounting, workflow development, financial management, all this and more. How do you get tickets? Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, how do you get tickets? Go to thrivetimeshow.com and request tickets today. And now Eric Trump, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States, and this just in from our home office, President Donald J. Trump is now the 47th president of these United States as well.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
He needed someone to run the companies for him. And so the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint. Right. I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second.
Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
And it ain't over now.
The lineup continues to grow, and this is how we do our tickets here at the Thrivetime Show. If you want to get a VIP ticket, you can absolutely do it. It's $500 for a VIP ticket. We've always done it that way. Now, if you want to take a general admission ticket, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why we do that is because we want to make our events affordable for everybody. I grew up without money. I totally understand what it's like to be in a tight spot. So if you want to attend, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. That's how I do it. And it's $500 for a VIP ticket. Now, we only have limited seating here with...
There's a lot of togetherness and closeness, camaraderie.
So again, if you want to get tickets for this event, all you have to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll go there, you'll request a ticket, boom. Or if you want to text me, if you want a little bit faster service, you say, I want you to call me right now. Just text my number. It's my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. We'll keep that private between you, me, everybody. We'll keep that private. And anybody, don't share that with anybody except for everybody. That's my private cell phone number. It's 918-851-0102. 918-851-0102. I know we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people that attend these conferences, and to be bilingually sensitive, my cell phone number is 918-851-0102.
That is not actually bilingual. That's just saying Juan for a one. It's not the same thing.
I think you're attacking me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, what kind of stuff will you learn at the Thrivetime Show workshop? So, Aaron, you've been to many of these over the past 7-8 years. So let's talk about it. I'll tee up the thing, and then you tell me what you're going to learn here, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
You're going to learn marketing and branding. What are we going to learn about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah. We're going to dive into, so many people say, oh, I got to get my brand known out there, like the Trump brand, right? You want to get that brand out there. It's like, how do I actually make people know what my business is and make it a household name? You're going to learn some intricacies of how you can do that.
You're going to learn sales. So many people struggle to sell something. This just in, your business will go to hell if you can't sell. So we're going to teach you sales. We're going to teach you search engine optimization, how to come up top in the search engine results. We're going to teach you how to manage people. Aaron, you have managed, no exaggeration, hundreds of people through throughout your career and thousands of contractors, and most people struggle with managing people. Why does everybody have to learn how to manage people?
Well, because first of all, you either have great people or you have people who suck. And so it can be a challenge. Learning how to work with a large group of people and get everybody pulling in the same direction can be a challenge. But if you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and you're really good at selecting great ones, and we have a process we teach about how to find great people. When you start with the people who have a great attitude, they're teachable, they're driven, all of those things, then, you can get those people all pulling in the same direction.
So we're going to teach you branding, marketing, sales, search engine optimization. We're going to teach you accounting. We're going to teach you personal finance, how to manage your finance. We're going to teach you time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get more done during a typical day? How do you build an organization if you're not organized? How do you do organization? How do you build an org chart? Everything that you need to know to start and grow a business will be taught during this 2-day interactive business workshop. Now, let me tell you how the format is set up here. And again, folks, this is a 2-day interactive 15. Think about this, folks. It's 2 days. Each day it starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 5 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 days. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. The way we do it is we do a 30-minute teaching session, and then we break for 15 minutes for a question and answer session. So, Aaron, what kind of great stuff happens during that 15-minute question and answer session after every teaching session?
I actually think it's the best part about the workshops, because here's what happens. I've been to lots of these things over the years. I've paid many thousands of dollars to go to them. And you go in there and they talk in vague generalities, and they're constantly upselling you for something, trying to get you to buy this thing or that thing or this program or this membership. And you leave not getting your very specific questions answered about your business or your employees or what you're doing on your marketing. And what's awesome about this is we literally answer every single question that any person asks, and it's very specific to what your business is.
And what we do is we allow you as the attendee to write your questions on the whiteboard. And then we literally, as you mentioned, we answer every single question on the whiteboard. And then we take a 15-minute break to stretch. And this is also your opportunity to meet some of the great speakers like Pastor Dave Scarlett. You can meet Mel K. You could meet Amanda Grace. You could meet Dr. Stella Emanuel. You could just grab a coffee. You could find some alone time. You could get lost in the bathroom. You could try to go and get a photo with one of the speakers. You could try to photobomb a photo where someone else is getting a photo with the speakers. You could go attempt to find your phone, wallet, and your keys.
My phone, wallet, keys, yeah, phone, wallet, keys.
Whoa. Now that's a good idea.
Well, it's going to be great. And then you're in the company of hundreds of entrepreneurs. So there's not a lot of people in America today. In fact, there's less than 10 million people today, according to U.S. Debt Clock, that identify as being self-employed. So if you have a country with 350 million people, that means you have less than 3% of our population that's even self-employed. So you only have 3 out of every 100 people in America that are self-employed to begin with. And when Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail by default, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of succeeding in the game of business. But yet the average client that you and I work with, we can typically double this. This is no hyperbole, no exaggeration. And I have thousands of testimonials to back this up. We have thousands of testimonials to back it up. But when you work with a home builder, when I work with a business owner, we can typically double the size of the company within 24 months.
Yeah.
Double. And you say double? Yeah, there's businesses that we have tripled. There's businesses we've grown 8x. There's so many examples you can see at thrivetimeshow.com. But again, this is the most interactive, best business workshop on the planet. This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet. Whoa. Add to that, Eric Trump, the man that runs the Trump organization. You say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple, I literally bring in the same food both days for lunch.
Who's with me? Let's go! Come on!
It was an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. Someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay, I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, you want a life-changing experience, you want to learn how to start and grow a company, Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now. thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event. Again, the event's going to be on December 4th and 5th in sunny Anaheim, California. Great weather. Make this a December to remember. Eric Trump, the man who leads the Trump organization. It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event.
I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now, you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. I think that's going to change your life. I promise you, this will be 10 times better than that.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. That is, I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. I mean, it is life changing. It is life changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right. Not really. So if you're looking to have life changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show workshop in beautiful Anaheim, California.
I'm Kay Dixon. I'm from Sarasota, Florida.
I'm Vince Suzuki, also from Sarasota, Florida.
He dragged me here.
Yep, was here in 2018, and it changed my business, and I built another business, and now I'm here to do it again with this business. So.
Yeah, I'm a brand strategist, and it's been really easy to go to a lot of events like this and just leave really in your head like what to do next. And already there's the strategic, step-by-step, real-life implementation that we can do to our business. And I'm so grateful to be here and very excited that Eric Trump is here, and that is going to be epic.
Hi, my name is Erica, and it has been amazing being here. The conference, I'm learning so much. Everything is perfect for me.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him. Character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart, and I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good, and then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But his, I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is.
And the greatest thing that'll come out of all of it, aside from winning the presidency of the United States, we'll get to that in a second, was an everlasting friendship between Clay and I, because I'm telling you, there's not too many people in the world that have this man's backbone and his tenaciousness and his perseverance. And so, buddy, I love you. And to General Flynn, thank you. You guys are incredible. You guys are incredible warriors. You guys are incredible, incredible warriors. So thank you, my friend.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
We're going to move into action mode here. So for anybody out there, if you say, I would like to go to Mar-a-Lago. Now, Jackson, you know that this just in, they raided Mar-a-Lago. You know about this? This just in. And so some people say, that wasn't cool. I didn't like that. But, so a lot of people out there, we want to kind of stick it to the New York Times. We want Eric to become the #1 best-selling author in America. And we kind of also want to go to Mar-a-Lago and check it out. We've never been there before. So what we're going to do is for anybody right now, if you go to Amazon right now and you buy a copy of Eric Trump's book, Under Siege, My Family's Fight to Save Our Nation. So you go to Amazon right now, you buy a copy of the book, and you just text a screenshot of your proof of purchase to my cell phone number, 918-851-0102. So text my number, 918-851-0102. So again, step one, you go here to Amazon.com, you buy a copy of the book, Under Siege, then you just text a screenshot of your purchase, your proof of purchase. You text my number, 918-851-0102. You have a chance to win a dinner at Mar-a-Lago with Eric Trump and myself, and there's more.
And by the way, Mar-a-Lago right there, just for your viewers, it's a most exclusive private club in the world. $2 million to get into, just base membership fee. And I promise we're going to make your night absolutely incredible. Clay goes, listen, why don't we do this? Why don't we put it out to all the amazing Reawaken people, all the people who supported us all around the country, all around, at every one of these conferences, who adore your family. We've got to beat the New York Times. The New York Times is going to do everything they can. Even though we're #1 on Amazon right now, we just hit #1 this morning. New York Times is going to do everything they can to keep you from being #1 bestseller. You know that, I know that, you know the games that they're willing to play. But Clay goes, why don't we do a couple of things? First of all, love having dinner with Clay. He's the greatest. Second of all, why don't we bring one of the amazing people that I guarantee you I've been in front of at all these events. Why don't we bring a couple to dinner at Mar-a-Lago? And I said, absolutely, consider it done. So I said, they have to text you, Clay. They can't text me because we'll be getting 1,000 of these. But yeah, go buy a book, text Clay, and we'll set up a dinner. I'll make sure you guys have the absolute time of your life.
Now, I'm going to pull this up again one more time here, Jackson, because I think sometimes I'm a poor communicator, and I need to work on communicating more effectively. So you go to Amazon. That's step one, okay? Yes. You buy a copy of the book, Pop Quiz. What book?
Under Siege.
You buy a copy of Under Siege, and then you screenshot a picture of that, and you text my phone number. It's 918-851-0102. And folks, that is my cell phone number. So we'll keep that private between you and me and everybody. And then when you text that to me, you have a chance to win a backstage pass to the actual in-person business workshop. That's a business growth workshop, December 4th and 5th, featuring Eric Trump in Anaheim, California. And you have a chance to win dinner with Eric Trump and myself at Mar-a-Lago. Now, someone says, when does this contest end? Now, Eric, your birthday was hijacked. Okay, so your birthday was hijacked. January 6th is this man's birthday. He now has to switch his birthday because no one wants to talk about his birthday on January 6th anymore. So we're going to run this promotion until November 5th. That's my birthday. So we're gonna,
no. So we're going to run it till October 14th.
October 14th.
Has to be pre-sale.
This just in. It has to be between October 14th. That's why we're clarifying. So between now and October 14th. Now, folks, let me just clarify this real quick here. So make sure I'm leaving you with some good clarity here. One, you buy a copy of Under Siege on Amazon. That's the step one.
Yep.
Step two, you text a screenshot of that purchase to my cell phone number, 918-851-0102. Three, you have to do that before October 14th. Before October 14th, this just in. It has to be before October 14th. And you have a chance to win a backstage pass to the upcoming business workshop. You have a chance to have dinner with Eric Trump at Mar-a-Lago. And I want to tell you some benefits of buying the book. One, I've read the book. It's incredible. If you're a father out there and you want to learn about mentoring your kids, it's a great book. If you want to learn about American history, it's a great book. If you want to make America great again, it is a great book. It's a book you got to have.
Now here is just a quick editor's note. You do not have to buy a copy of Eric Trump's book, Under Siege, to be entered into the drawing. Whoa. Just text the number. All you have to do is just text the number, 918-851-0102, and you will be entered into the drawing for a chance to win a copy of Eric Trump's book, Under Siege, and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to hang out with Eric Trump and Clay Clark at Mar-a-Lago, and to win a backstage pass at the upcoming ThriveTimeShow.com 2-day interactive business workshop. Again, you do not have to buy a copy of the book to be entered into the drawing, but it would be great if you'd buy a copy of the book because that would make sense. However, that is all, and now back to the interview.
Also, Eric, a final question here for you. You are donating a portion of the proceeds to support Charlie Kirk in his continued mission there. Could you tell us about that briefly there, and then we'll let you get back to what you're doing today, sir?
Yeah, well, I was on with Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson was a great friend of Charlie Kirk's, as you know, and you know Benny, and Benny's a very good friend of mine. And, you know, Cash Patel is a very good friend of mine and was a very good friend of Charlie's. I mean, you watch everybody that's up on that stage every single day as they got to the bottom of exactly what happened, and they brought justice to what happened, or are trying to bring justice to what happened. And it's kind of unthinkable. But you know St. Jude, and I talk a lot about St. Jude in this book, because that's been, you know, fighting pediatric cancer has always been a cornerstone of my life. But Charlie truly was the epitome of being under siege, not only in the movement that he helped create, but obviously in how his life was savagely taken. My book came out 2.5 days before Charlie's assassination. You better believe he would have been the final chapter of this book as just another illustration of what these people will do at any cost to try and win, because it's who they are. It's the not so tolerant left. And we can never let, you know, our voices be extinguished, Clay. You stood on that stage as well as anybody I've ever seen stand on a stage. You did our Reawaken events all across the country, which you funded out of your back pocket because you believed in America. You believed in a greater country. And you were on that stage every single day. You know, I was on that stage with you every single day. And I was on the Turning Point stage with Charlie all the time. And I was on stages across, you know, the country and 3 campaigns. I've stood on thousands of them. And honestly, they don't want us to stand on that stage. That's why they're sending bullets from rooftops. They don't want us to go out there with a bullhorn and have loud, independent thought. When they see these beautiful arenas full of kids and they're cheering, they're celebrating, they're holding American flags, they don't want that. And so they want to silence us. They want to silence our voice. That's why they killed Charlie. That's why they tried to kill my father. That's why they sent 112 subpoenas to me. That's why they wanted me in jail and my father in jail and Don in jail. That's why they made up the hoaxes. They wanted to see us destroyed and gone with no voice, with no money, with no company, with no political aspirations, gone. And we can't allow that to happen. And so we need to make sure that Turning Point continues. We need to make sure incredible patriots like you continue to spread, you know, sensible, you know, speech, pro-American values, you know, pro-religious, pro-constitutional values. And that's why I want to donate the funds to Turning Point. I want to donate, you know, a portion of the funds to Turning Point, because we can't allow anarchy to win, and we can't allow voices to be deleted, and we need to keep Charlie's legacy going.
Eric Trump, thank you so much for joining us. Pastor Jackson, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Eric, have a great day. We really do appreciate you. Everybody go out there and buy that book, Under Siege. It's not too early to buy your Christmas gifts. And if you have a Democrat in your family, buy them a copy as well. Eric Trump, take care.
Thanks, guys. See you later.